You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host, who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today with me I have Jodie and Josh. So not only do you get me, you get those guys too. And for those of you who are interested in beeswax, yes, the old adage is minding the own beeswax, but these guys have developed a company based around beeswax, and I reached out to Jodie on the Facebook group, and she said, "Can I bring my husband along as well?" And I said, "Yes, the more the merrier." So I'm going to let Jodie and Josh take it away.
Hi, Wynn. So Josh and I are kind of a package deal. Our business is Bee Lovely Botanicals, and Josh does most of the beekeeping, and then I do the product formulating, a lot of the branding. So we work really closely together, but we each kind of have our separate specialities. And when Wynn asked us if we wanted to come on and talk about bees, I said, sure, but my husband is the main beekeeper, so you'll probably want him to come along too to answer some of those questions.
Exactly. Now, my first question right out of the chute is I've been told that beehive, beekeeping hive is 4 hours away from me, but I don't have one close to me where I live in Colorado. But I've been told that over the years, it's the safest thing for you to eat localized honey. Is that still true?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so local honey has pollen from all of the plants that bloom in your area. So a lot of people take raw local honey to help with their allergies. And what people mean when they say raw honey is honey that hasn't been really finely filtered or heated. When you really finely filter the honey, you're actually filtering out all that pollen that you would want to take to help with your allergies. And there are also hormones and enzymes from the bees just naturally occurring in the honey. And if you heat it too hot, you'll denature those hormones and enzymes. So if you like your honey liquid, you can still warm it up to melt the honey. But if you get it above like 118 or 120 degrees, you're going to denature those hormones and enzymes. It's still okay to eat and it won't hurt you. It's just not as good for you as if you hadn't heated it that high.
Okay. So you people need to stick with local honey, and yeah, if you want best results. I mean, I guess could you, if people don't have a beehive close to them, could you go out of state for bees, or for honey, or is that still not a good thing?
No, we ship our honey, and you can order online at our website. If you're looking specifically for honey to help with your allergies, you're going to want to stick to honey that was harvested in an area that has plants similar to what you're allergic to. So that's where the local honey comes in if you're taking it for allergies.
Yeah, like most people are allergic.
New. You taught me something new. I didn't realize that honey could help with allergies.
Oh yeah, many of our customers buy our raw honey just for that purpose.
You taught me something new. I always thought, well, stick with the local honey because you know where it's come from, but I didn't realize stick with the local honey because of allergies.
Yep.
So,
Did you?
Josh, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, even with allergies, some plants are just pretty common throughout all the United States, like ragweed. We have ragweed, and that's one of a big allergy thing too. So if you are allergic to ragweed and that's what you're taking it for, our pollen or our honey would have the same type of pollen that you would have locally too. So even, I mean, it local for is best for allergies, but even outside of your realm, even if you have something that's pretty common throughout all the United States, it's still much better for you than any store bought stuff.
Now, I have a question for you, and there's a story behind this question. I two to 3 years ago, I actually it was 3 years ago. I actually had bees. Believe it or not, you guys land up in my house,
Oh,
started
really?
eating the paper in the vacuum, and yeah, it was a disaster and a half. Yeah, all I could hear downstairs was buzzing bees, and so long story short, the Colorado Animal Control comes out. They do nothing, and so if it happens again, do because I live in a house that was built in the 70s, has all these nooks and crannies, and I'm scared of bees because of that. And people know that I can't deal with bees because of the short version of the story I just told you guys. So if someone has that problem with the infestation of bees in their house, do we call a local beekeeper? I mean, because Colorado Animal Wildlife did absolutely nothing, and we paid them good money to come out, and all they did is spray and call it good, and then the bees came back.
Right. So, if you have a swarm, the first thing that we always tell people is to make sure that they're actual honeybees. I'm not as familiar with Colorado, but I know here in Michigan we have a lot of yellow jackets in the fall, and they try to find somewhere to go in the fall, and we get a lot of calls that people have honeybees, but they're actually yellow jackets. So the first thing that we say is to make sure that they're actual honeybees, and um, we try to avoid spraying a swarm.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to avoid that. We understand that you can't have this in your house. When you said that they came back, that's typical of honeybees. When they swarm, they send out scout bees, and these bees are looking for somewhere suitable to live, and they can smell that there used to be a hive there, so they think it's a good place to go, and they'll come back again.
Why? That's why they came back. I was wondering that. No, and the bee infestation in my house, I'm like, gotta love it. No, but the beehive wasn't knocked down by wildlife control out in Colorado. The beehive was not knocked down, and he just went in and sprayed. I watched the guy do it, and I'm like, oh, that's not a good idea, dude. That's not a good idea, dude. Because I've spoken to beekeepers since, including you guys, and they go, well, the bees may come back.
Yeah, that it's pretty typical that they'll do that. Usually, the question asked if you call a beekeeper, we are a little bit more trained in getting rid of them. A lot of beekeepers will be happy to come get them if they can. If they're in a spot where they can cut out the whole hive and get them out of your house, they'll take the whole thing because it's free bees for them usually, and they'll also understand, that the bees will come back. So, giving you tips on how to seal up the house and keep future infestations from coming in, they have that information for you.
Well, if it ever happens again, you guys, I'm calling a local beekeeper.
Right.
If it ever happens again, I almost called a friend of mine who is a beekeeper, and I almost said, "Help! What do I do?" Because I am never, ever, ever again. I've decided never calling wildlife control because wildlife control, even though they're lovely, they don't know as much as beekeepers do.
Right. Yep. Beekeepers are very knowledgeable and always working to learn more about bees.
So, and here's my next question. Jodie, and I'm going to ask you this first, and then Josh, you will go next. What made you, Jodie, go into beekeeping?
Back in 2007, we had a tree out in the front of our property, and it was kind of rotten and hollow in the bottom. And we just ended up getting a wild swarm. It was really low to the ground, and it was a really gentle hive. So me and my oldest son would go sit out there and just watch the bees come and go. And bees have something called a pollen basket. It's kind of like a pocket on their back leg, and they pack it full of pollen. And we would watch some bees come in and their pollen baskets were just so full. And then some bees would come in with just a little bit of pollen. And the more we watched them, the more intrigued we got with all of the different things that we saw them doing. So we started reading books that winter about bees. And the more you read about the intelligence and the social order in a hive, it was just so interesting to us. Then that following spring, we got our first beehives.
Oh, yes. So basically, the tree in 2007, Jodie, made you go into beekeeping. I see.
Yep.
And for me, it was the same thing. We were watching it, but it kind of was a weird coincidence that I work for the conservation district here in our local area, and I was part of an education coordinator, and we were doing this show for kids. It was kind of a walk through the area, and there was all different displays in that kids could walk through and learn about different parts of agriculture. And I happened to be stationed right next to a beekeeper that same summer. So I was kind of quizzing him about, beekeeping. And, he told me that at the time, most of the beekeepers were quite old. Like he was,
Yeah.
I think he was like in his later 60s, maybe even early 70s. And he said that he was one of the youngest people in his beekeeping group. So I thought, well, that seems, yeah. And since then, beekeeping has really kind of blown up, and there's a lot more younger people. But he said there's no younger people coming up at the time. So I got interested in what he had to say, and then we had the wild swarm, and we both just started researching it. And then the following spring, we got our first hive, and I think we've been hooked on it ever since.
That is dead cool. See what you can do at a conversation at work. You can get hooked into a new passion, you guys.
Yep.
Right.
So you better watch out, you guys, because the now since I have more knowledge about bees, when they come back, if they do come back into my life, I'm going to have more knowledge about bees than you would like to know about, because the first time is, and this is when my dad was still alive too. My stepmom and my dad were living with me when the bees happened, but the first time we're like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And call pest control. And so that's what we did. And so now if they show back up, which I hope they don't, I'm going to have more knowledge than Google because I have spoken to you guys and spoken to several beekeepers across the state, and they say, well, call us if you need us to
Right.
come out there because we'll be happy to come get your bee mess because really bees can cause a mess, you guys, if you're not careful and don't know what to do. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
I remember, and Jodie and Josh, you'll appreciate this one. So I have a um up above my kitchen, I have a picture glass window, and I remember seeing honey, literally seeing honey on the picture glass window, and I'm like, oh my goodness, honey on the
Oh,
inside of the window, and I'm like,
yep.
oh, here we go, and so it's like, really, really, yeah, bees and not my I'm more comfortable with them now that I've gained knowledge um than I was back then when it first happened. But if it happens again, there's no way I'm calling pest control.
Right.
So, Jody, what is your favorite book?
Oh boy. I when I was younger, I used to be a voracious reader, and with the boys in the business, I can't remember the last book that I read just for enjoyment. I guess going way back, Gone with the Wind is probably one of my favorite books. I also really liked Where the Red Fern Grows.
And Josh, what about you?
You're asking the wrong person. I
Oh,
don't want to say that I don't read much.
uh,
I have a hard time reading like storybooks. I'd like to read more like informational stuff. And I guess the last book that I read like that,
Well, it could be any book.
it could be
I
anything.
guess anything by Tony Evans. I like his writing style. I've read quite a few of his books. I guess anything by him.
And so, what is your morning routine? Jody, you can go first.
Oh boy. Well, so we homeschool our three boys, and we work from home. So we try to keep a routine. It doesn't always work out that way, but we usually get up, have devotions in the morning, and have breakfast. The boys do their chores, and Josh and I'll come down and answer some emails and do a little bit of computer work. Then in the afternoons, we've been actually working on a project with the boys. They're starting up a mobile coffee trailer. So for kind of like for them to have a summer job. And we've been remodeling an old camper in the afternoons with them.
You need to go check out these boys' Instagram. By the way, you guys, I snuck on Jody and Josh's website and started following you guys on Instagram and then following the camper and the coffee
Oh, you
aspect.
found that too?
I found that too. I found that too. So you guys need to go follow this crew because it's amazing.
It is a lot of work. I mean, homeschooling has definitely had its challenges, but there it is rewarding too. You know, we back before coronavirus and all that, we were doing a lot of traveling, and we always find places to be educational. So you know, the boys go with us. They help us sell at craft shows, and then we'd usually do something in the area that was educational. Last year, we went to Gettysburg and toured that, and we usually try to find something similar. But with their coffee trailer, this has definitely been a new experience because it's being more led by them. And Jody came up with the idea for them, but they're definitely into it and looking at how they can different coffees they can make and how they can. They're even starting to talk about expanding now. So we haven't even finished the first trailer.
They're on to
like,
franchising.
Yeah, they're on to well, we could get another one and have two of them going. Okay, let's finish the first one.
Oh boy. And Jody, what out of all the products you guys have, what is your favorite product? And then Josh, I'm asking you the same question.
Oh, for me, my favorite product is our Royal Jelly Vitamin B3 and Green Tea Face Cream. That's actually our best seller, and it's just a really, really lovely anti-aging cream. I put it on every night. It's scented with rosemary and Litsea essential oils, and it's got just a really, really pleasant smell. It's not like too strong or overly floral. It's just a really, really nice cream, and you can see the benefits after using it for a while. You can actually see the benefits. So that's definitely my favorite product.
Mine would be our hand cream. I work a lot outside, and being outside in the wintertime, I have a tendency not to wear gloves as much as I should. So my hands will get dried out really fast, and our hand cream really does help to keep my skin from being all dried out and cracked, especially in the wintertime.
And if your best friend, Jody, and then I'm asking Josh the same question, if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
Oh my goodness. 101 crazy ideas, 1,001 crazy ideas, maybe.
And Josh.
It'd probably be
How to keep up with 1,001 crazy ideas.
Jody's definitely the idea person. I kind of come along for the ride and try to help out as much as I can. Mine would probably be how to do things wrong 1,000 times and still succeed, I guess.
And yes. So following the 1,000 crazy ideas to you guys, that's what happens. And so as we wrap this interview up, now here's a question for you. Since we have a bunch of graduating seniors, thank you very much. I might as well throw this question into the bot. Could you get a degree in beekeeping, or what does it entail?
Well, there's not an actual. I guess it's kind of a.
Not that we know of.
There is different things you can do for education with beekeeping. Yeah. There is no actual class, just beekeeping. Yeah. As far as like getting a degree, but you can become what's called a master beekeeper, which is along the same lines as the master gardeners program, yes. Where as you gain your knowledge, you gain these skills and abilities. You can apply and take the test and become what's called a master beekeeper. There's quite a bit to it. We haven't done it. We're kind of all on our own. We don't really need a title, and it's not just a title, but that's a lot of what it is. The other thing is there are degrees in like entomology, and that if you wanted a college degree in something beekeeping, there's definitely a wide field in entomology, especially with varroa mites and all the diseases that are affecting bees right now.
Right. I think there are a lot of people that are entomologists that specialize in bees.
Right. Yeah. And they're just researching bees all the time and what needs to get done to keep them healthy.
Yeah. Well, trade school isn't a bad idea, you guys. Even though I'm going back for my journalism degree, I'm actually going into the trade of journalism. So trade school isn't a bad choice, you guys.
Right.
I mean, do something that you're passionate about. So that's why I was asking, can you get a degree in beekeeping if you have seniors looking for untraditional education? And yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of beekeeping. If any of your listeners are interested in beekeeping and want to learn it, there's always a lot of beekeepers out there that need the summer help and they're willing to train you. I don't know. Sometimes it's not always a paid position. There's a lot of interns, but every state pretty much has like an expert that is kind of known for beekeeping, and they're always looking for help. And you can really gain a lot of knowledge from working with those guys too.
No, but Josh, you put up a good point. I was going to say kids and money are a great thing, but I training without the money incentive is also great.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowledge will help you one way or the
Knowledge
other.
is power. Knowledge is power, as they say. So, yeah, look into it, you guys, and see where you can, if beekeeping is your choice, and if you want to go look under Master Beekeeper, be my guest, because trade schools are here to stay, and the trade of beekeeping is here to stay, and the trade of journalism, in my case, is here to stay. Yes, I just said that, even though newspapers are dying, and I don't that monkey business ever, because there's so many different forms of these industries now that you can blaze a new path within one industry.
Right. Yep. Maybe not going away, just changing form.
Not it's not beekeeping is not going away. It's just changing form, especially now since we're all sitting in this pandemic. Everything is changing form. Everything is not going away. It's just changing form.
Yep.
So, Josh and Jodie, I know you have a question for me, and so go ahead and ask it.
Sure. So I was looking through your Instagram and I was looking at some of your books on Amazon, and it just struck me how overwhelmingly positive you are. And I know me personally, with this shutdown, we're used to working from home and we're used to homeschooling and we're used to being home a lot, but we're also used to traveling a lot. And it's been a real adjustment. And I find myself struggling some days to be positive about all of this experience. And I just wonder how you continually put out so much positivity.
Well, to tell you the honest truth, as Jody said, it's a huge adjustment for me, because I'm used to traveling. Yes, I do travel despite my disability, and I'm used to going out. I'm not used to being sheltered in home at home. I'm used to working from home. The working from home aspect doesn't bother me. It's the going out and not seeing people that is
Right.
starting to drive me nuts.
Yeah, I feel yeah. We can understand that.
Yeah, but all in all, I would say to you guys to keep yourself positive. Just have well, number one, listen to any book that you can, or my books are all on audio tape, by the way, and or any podcast you can, or even better, learn a new skill like beekeeping. You can Google beekeeping, and then when this whole thing gets over, you can go out in the field and talk to master beekeepers.
Yeah, very good advice.
So yeah, they say take this time to learn a new skill.
Yeah, and we've been trying to look at all the positives.
Yeah.
The camper that we bought needed a lot of work, and for the boys. And, we kind of are stuck at home anyway. There's nothing else to do. So we've been using this time to really work on their
No,
camper.
exactly.
Definitely is trying
Exactly.
to see the positive and not just sit at home and mope and
Mope.
not feel good about it. Just
Moping
see
is
the opportunities.
see the opportunities. And so if you're allowed to see people, great. But if you're not, that's fine too. Google beekeeping, Google how to get in the creative field of journalism, Google how to start a new company, Google, yeah, just take this time to learn a new skill and appreciate the people that you have around you.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the title of your book should be 1,001 Ideas.
1,001 ideas. Now the title of my book is the title of my book is going to, well, it's already taken by me, thank you very much. I come up in, it's already taken by me. But the title of, I'm more of a fiction novelist, and I have a book coming out sometime here soon, and then I'm working on a book on podcasting as well, you guys. So, and then I'm going to transfer into journalism completely. So, yeah, but learning a new skill is wonderful.
Definitely.
And so, where can people find you guys?
We are, we have a website. It's Bee Lovely Botanicals, and it's BEE, 2 E's, like honeybee. And we're on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest.
Or if you go on Facebook we try to keep our show schedule online somewhere. But if any of your listeners ever want to see us in person, we do travel quite a bit, and we always love meeting new people too. So when we do get to travel again, our craft show schedule is usually online somewhere.
Okay. And do you guys ship internationally, or do you guys just ship throughout the states?
We, on our website, I can't remember exactly if I had it set up. I think I might have set it up to ship to Canada and the United States. Our website is mostly just through the United States.
Yeah.
And then on our Etsy store, which is also just Bee Lovely Botanicals, we do have that set up to ship internationally. We actually just sent some of our stuff to England yesterday. So
Etsy, you guys, is the better international. Bee Lovely Botanicals is more the US site. And you guys, you never know. You guys may get a surprise sale. Hint, hint. Because because I love to support small businesses. And you guys, that's why I bought Jodie and Josh on, because now that the big businesses are closed, well, everything's closed, including the small businesses, but those who are still open, please support, because this is how we're gonna get the economy back up and running. We gotta start somewhere, you guys. We gotta start somewhere. And if it's not the small business owners that we support, it's going to be the bigger. But avoid Amazon, please. Avoid Amazon and just go with the small little mom and pops there, because we gotta start somewhere and we gotta realize what's going on.
Yeah, and we've really been, we weren't sure when all this happened, if everybody was just going to close up their wallets and say, nope, I'm not buying anything. But we've really been blessed that our customers and, people that not even that have been our customers keep finding us, and we have been getting that support, and local people have been like, you know what, it's Nurses Week, I want to support you guys. So they've been coming and buying stuff for, nurses gifts and Mother's Day gifts. So it really has been nice to see that. I think people are kind of getting a different perspective on how things maybe should be running. And
Oh, yes, they are. Oh,
I
yes,
think
they are. They're getting a deeper perspective on. They may listen to me on and off, but they are now more listening to me because they like what I say. So, my fans, you need to go support Jodie and Josh, because this is the heartbeat of America. And if you like honey, you need to go support those guys, to the direction of those guys, because as I said, please support local businesses, and please support me and my work. And I appreciate Jodie and Josh's time today, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode. Thanks, see you guys. Bye, you guys.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at WinKellyCharles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.